Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Coach Susan and I'm very happy to have you guys on here. Now, money may not buy happiness, we all know that, but one thing that we cannot deny is that it makes life so much easier, especially when you are trying to navigate the dynamics of running a family. And this is one of the reasons why I think it's so important for family or in the family setup for money to be discussed, for money to be taught, for money not to be a taboo. And one of the things that I've noticed is that very few families actually have created the habit of discussing and talking openly about money. So many families are not teaching their children from a very young age how to handle money. Their young adults are literally finishing school and entering the job market with having never had any knowledge from family or from home on how to deal with money. And I honestly feel like that is such a big mistake, because families that actually discuss money, families that run like the money issues or talk about money together seem to actually succeed more than families who are completely ignorant of discussing money. And as long as you're doing life together, either as husband or wife or parents or even co-parents, money is always gonna show up because it runs quite a huge aspect of running a family. And so in today's episode, I thought it would be really good, as the year is still very new and fresh, to give you some pointers and some tips on how you can actually create financial awareness in your home and how you can actually raise a financial savvy family and financial savvy kids. That is very super important. So let me give you some of these tips. The first and the most important aspect of building financial awareness in a family, I think, must start from the perspective of understanding what your money mindset is as a family and what your money philosophy is as a family. And your money mindset and your money philosophy is most probably informed by what you saw as you were growing up, but most importantly also experiences. So you need to identify, okay, in my household, we actually do not talk about money. Let's assume that's the mindset or that is the philosophy, that your family has never discussed about money. Like when you were young, that was never happening. And now that you have your own family, it's not something that is happening, or maybe you've tried and it's failing. So number one, you need to identify what is causing that lack of openness or discussing of money in your family. Yet everything that includes running a family needs an aspect of money, whether that's school fees or raising your kids or planning for family projects like having a home or travel. All of these things include money. So number one, what is the current mindset and what is the philosophy that you guys have about money? And I think at this point, it's very important to identify, like, one of the things that, because I coach a lot of people on personal finance, and majority of my clientele is actually women, I would say 70%. And whenever we are talking about money, let's say like last year, I had a client who was doing very well financially as a woman. She had a good job. And she was trying to tell me, Coach, I'm really trying hard to understand this financial literacy thing, how to budget, how to do financial planning, and how to even invest for the family because we have children. But then she kept telling me that the husband is not interested, and the husband kept telling her that hizo vitu za wanawake, women are the ones, you just handle that, tell me what you learn. And she felt that is one of the things that was restricting them, because as much as she's budgeting, her partner is not budgeting. So either way, there's going to be a financial problem in the family. As much as she's thinking, okay, we need to save up some money, we need to invest for these kids, then her spouse is not necessarily in that mind space. That is one of the things that creates a lack of discussing money, because one person is in a mental space where they are like, okay, I need to figure out my money, and then the other person is just feeling like they're very nonchalant about it, or they're unbothered about it. So that could be one of the issues. The second issue that I've also identified is definitely a lack of trust. When I was preparing to start my own family, and I know a lot of ladies will also attest to this, you're always told, mwanamke, as a lady, have your own money, hide money somewhere so that you have a backup plan and stuff. So our society generally, and even as Africans, we've been raised in such a way that we do not trust each other with money. And even as you're coming into a family setting, or when you're starting your own family, you're already coming into it with that mindset that, I can't trust anyone with money. So those are the things that I'm saying we need to identify first, because that's what is informing your money mindset, and that is what is informing your money philosophy. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do in your marriage, but one thing I can tell you is this. As long as you have, you're married to someone, you're raising children together, you're trying to do life together, you're trying to get projects done together, and there's no trust, openness, or a form of financial transparency, the truth of the matter is that your family will not grow as much financially as one where there is trust, openness, and integrity when it comes to money. So the first thing to actually, the first step is actually identifying how can we resolve these issues. The reason why money is a taboo in our family, the reason why we don't talk or discuss about money is either trust, past trauma or experiences, or just how you were raised as a person. You're not raised to be open about money. So once you've been able to identify why you're not discussing money, I think a lot of us want to be, coach, tell me what I can do to become more financially aware as a family. But the truth of the matter is that we need to start with the why. Why are you not discussing money in the first place? Does that make sense, guys? So once you've been able to get to the root of the reason why money is taboo in your household or in your family or in your marriage, then you can start now working backwards to resolve those issues. Because a lot of the reason why, even in marriages and spouses, they don't talk about money or are not transparent, it has very little to do with money and a whole lot to do with the nature of your relationship. So you'll even discover that because of other underlying non-money issues that have remained unresolved for so many years, or financial abuse or financial irresponsibility from one of the parties, then you will realize that you live separate financial lives. And obviously, because of that, money won't be discussed. And that is exactly the same thing that you're passing down to your children. So identify why your money mindset as a family and why your philosophy as a family is the way it is. That's the first step. The second thing that you need to do is to definitely recognize or be clear about what kind of a family you would want to be. Because remember, today we are discussing how to raise or to create a financial savvy family. So you want to actually sit down and identify what kind of a family would I want my family to look like when it comes to money, and actually write it down or note it down. So we want to be a family that discusses money. We want to be a family that is open or transparent about money. We would like to be a family that, let's say, has money meetings or financial meetings. Let me tell you guys, one of the experiences that really shaped even how I started showing up financially in my own family was an experience I had in 2022, actually. Of course, in my nature of work, I do coach individuals, I do consult. And one of the families that I coached in 2022 actually was a lady who came to me and they're like, okay, I need to book a consultation session with you. And we had the consultation session. She just wanted someone to look at her investment portfolio. She was already doing very well for herself. She just wanted a second set of eyes for someone to just look at her money and be like, okay, so is my portfolio okay? Is there something else I can do? Now, after that, she was very impressed with my services. And she was like, you know what? My family and I actually have meetings every month to talk about money. So the husband comes with, his Excel sheet, and she comes with her own Excel sheet, and, they discuss, how much money did we make this month? Where did your money go? Are there family projects that we need to bring our heads together and think about? And so she was like, you know what, we've never actually thought of having a finance coach come into one of our meetings. And I was like, okay, well, cool. That's amazing. And let me tell you something, guys. This couple had 2 boys, one 6 years old and another 9. And I think because of that togetherness and oneness, they already had school fees all the way to, the boys were very young, as you can see, 6 and 9, but they had school fees all the way to high school for these kids. So I was, my God, my mind was blown, guys, because I was just like, this is what happens when 2 people come together with one vision, one purpose, one accord, and with a level, because it takes a whole lot of discipline plus vulnerability for me to come with my Excel sheet and be accountable to my husband, about, this is where the money came in. Also, nilichoma, nilinunua handbag, pole, and it's not like you're apologizing. I mean, it's your money, but like, because you're all trying to work towards a common goal, that's where accountability comes in. So what I'm saying is that if you'd like to be a family that, let's say, talks to kids about money, write that down. If you'd like to be, and not just write it down, but agree on it, right? If you'd like to be a family that saves together, if you'd like to be a family that, discusses the family budget together, figure out what that oneness or togetherness in a family would look like. It's not always recommended, or rather, it's not always like a blanket rule that you must have joint accounts. As a matter of fact, what I recommend is that your partner has their own separate account, savings and investments. You also have your own separate account, savings and investments, of course, because life sometimes happens. But then you also want to have investments and savings that are geared towards bettering the family. So anything regarding, like anything that needs joint effort, like family projects, household projects, children projects, like whatever requires like joint effort, it's probably best advice that you do it in terms of like joint savings or joint investments, because then again, in that case, instead of one person bearing the burden, or like relishing that responsibility to one person, then, or rather relinquishing that responsibility to one person, you want to now bring together your heads and be like, okay, so this year we need 700K in school fees. What are we going to do about that? Or this year we need to build for mom the house, or we need to buy land. Then, what do we need to do from both ends? So I was very, very super inspired. And that's also something I started doing since then. So also in my household, we do have monthly money meetings and monthly financial meetings, so that everyone is actually accountable. And it's not like you're reporting or someone will punish you, but really it's the more you can't report debt for 7 months, your partner will actually ask you, like, what is it and what's the reason why you're always in debt and why you always have mobile loans, for instance. To identify what kind of a family you would want to be. What does oneness, if for you it looks like doing a family budget together, please do that. Just one thing, okay? If for you it looks like, okay, we need to discuss money with our children more, tell them, write your shopping list, or however it is that you're going to start including your children. Just identify what a baby step would look like and start very small. Then as time goes by, then you can add on. Like for us, we started with budgeting together, like sitting down and looking at our budget and identifying what needs to be paid for. And then when you build that confidence or vulnerability of being accountable to each other with regards to how you're spending money, I think now you can move to like another step where you say, okay, maybe let's open this joint account and start saving for these children, or maybe let us start working on this investment for a future project. So don't bombard yourself with, oh my God, we need to be perfect. Just ensure that you have identified what a baby step would look like in terms of oneness financially, and start working on that. The third thing that you can do or focus on to build a financially savvy family is to really, really watch your behavior. One of the things that I have actually learned is that the kids or the young adults most probably will do what you do. They will not do what you say. Does that make sense, guys? So if your kids are constantly looking at you behaving with money a certain type of way, even if you tell them save, even if you tell them be careful with money, and they are watching you impulse buy things, they are watching you, spend credit cards anyhow, they're watching you getting auctioned, that's exactly what they pick up. So I feel that it is also very, very important for a financially savvy family that for the heads of the family, like the parents or the guardians or whoever are the adults in the family, to really watch their behaviors, because how you behave with money, believe me, is exactly how your children or your family will behave with money. One of the other things that you can also look to do is to start identifying the little money behaviors that your children do have, because again, it really does add up. From a very young age, you can identify which of your kids is a spender, which of your kids is a hoarder. Obviously, if you have enough time to maybe like give them, I always recommend kids having like piggy banks, or, working on projects, even if they're just going to save bare minimum money and you're the one who's going to top up. the rest of it. It's actually really cute. Like your kid thinks they've done such a big job and they saved for a phone, but they probably only saved 1,000 bob and you had to top up 14,000 to get them something. But why you do that is because as you either give them money rewards for one reason or the other, either because they've done chores or you just give them money to save, also give them the freedom. Like go to the mall with them or go out with them, everyone with the little amount they have saved, and just merely observe. You'll realize that maybe one of your children is very careful with money. They don't want to see the piggy bank going down in amount. So you can tell this child already has saving tendencies, or they have hoarding tendencies. They don't like to spend money that much. And maybe you'll have a very happy-go-lucky kid that's the moment they have the money, it's empty. They spend, and they even spend overboard, and you have to actually top them up. So that way, you're actually able to identify, okay, for this one, we really have to teach that savings lesson to them slowly from a very young age. Of course, they are young brains, so don't overwhelm them, but really just that's one of the hacks that you can use. But even before you start dealing with your own children's behaviors, deal with your own money behaviors. I had a client that I was working with that was very, very much in debt, credit card debt. And one of the things she told me, because you see, when you come to me and we're trying to deal with your debt, we don't just try to get you out of debt, because it's very easy to get out of debt and go back into debt, okay? If we don't identify why you're in debt in the first place and what got you there, you're gonna go back, right? So as we were discussing, her childhood history and everything that she learned about money from her parents, she told me, you know what? In my family, when you want something, you get it. As in, she never identified, or rather, she never experienced any such thing as delayed gratification with any of her parents. She watched them get whatever it is that they wanted. She watched them buy whatever it is that they wanted. And so, for her, she was never, ever, she had never experienced delayed gratification. Now, while her parents might have had money and the credit card facilities, she's now grown up and she lives in her own place and now has her own paycheck. And she's still bringing that mindset into her own finances, that why should I wait? I mean, if I want something, I can get it. So whether I'm going to get it through a credit card, of course, my bank already gives me those facilities, or whether it's a mobile loan. So again, that's why I'm saying be very careful your behavior with money, because as much as you can tell your children, do this, do this, do this, they don't do what you say, they will do exactly what you do. So if you want to build a financially savvy family, start with watching your own behavior, because that's exactly what your children pick up. To have a financially savvy family, you must also be willing to talk openly about money. And one of the things, guys, I will tell you is that it is not easy and it is not comfortable. And even for me, when I actually, in fact, I used to be very secretive about money, and not just in my family setting, but also in my friendships and relationships. And I think I've shared on this channel before that one of the reasons why I was very unwilling to discuss money was because of shame. I've told you guys that I grew up very poor, and in my mindset, I don't know why, but at the back of my mind, I've always felt like I'm probably the poorest in this group. So I don't want to talk about if people are talking about how much money they earn, I don't want to talk about that, because I'm already feeling disadvantaged, or I always felt like I don't know about money, I don't know how to save, I don't know how to invest. And interestingly, even when I came into a family setting, I brought that mindset of feeling shame, feeling intimidated, feeling like I'm not good enough. And I felt like if I'm honest about my finances, then someone will look down on me, right? And let me tell you guys, as long as you refuse the discomfort of being open and vulnerable and honest about money, there is no way you are ever going to build a financial savvy family or a financial savvy marriage. The thing you need to understand is that it's definitely not easy, but it is worth it. Guys, financial infidelity is breaking down families that would otherwise not be broken. So many people are lying to their spouses about how much money they make. So many people are lying to their spouses about what they've done with money. So many people are lying about loans and debt. And if we are married and you are in debt to a point that we will get auctioned, I mean, it's gonna affect me, or if I'm in debt, it's gonna affect you and our children nonetheless. You understand? So that's one of the things I always tell people. It's not always going to be easy. And I think that's one of the things, you just think of being honest with this person. So let's assume your spouse or your children or whoever it is in this case that you consider family, has already disappointed you in the past. They've already made very bad money decisions. So obviously a lot of us hide because we are guarding our money, we are guarding ourselves. Obviously, I'll still urge you to apply wisdom, but like at the end of the day, as long as there's a level of trust and understanding in your family, then there should be an openness. So talk openly about money. I have never, ever, ever seen a family that has succeeded financially or that has raised very financially aware children if money is a taboo conversation in their family. So as long as mumenyamaziana tu kwa mnafichana pesa, like you're lying to each other about money, just know that there's going to be a glass ceiling to how high you can go. My partner and I, the day we actually just decided that we are going to be honest and open with each other about money, one of the things that we've actually accomplished is that we've done so many, like we've checked off so many family projects off our to-do list, because we are no longer looking at it as I don't have 1 million or he doesn't have 1 million. We're looking at it from the perspective of we need 1 million. This family needs 1 million. So we both like pull our resources and our funds, and it's become easier to, buy the cars, to buy the land, to make the investments. It's become so much easier when both of us are in it and both of us are equally committed. So things that would have taken us 3 or 5 years to achieve as individuals, we've taken a year or two to achieve as a couple. So that's ideally what I'm driving at. So you need to speak openly about money if you want your family to grow financially. Another important aspect is including your children in financial literacy. So teach your children about money management. One of the simplest things that you can do is what I mentioned earlier on. Please have them have piggy banks. And Africans are generally known for lacking a culture of saving. And one of the things that I think we can start doing is that from a very, very young age, introduce your children to piggy banks. Introduce them to writing down small goals or writing down, I want trainers, I want this toy, or I want to go swimming, or I want this much. And of course, you're the one providing the money because they're not earning, but really, there's also that aspect where you can create a scenario where they save and they put money in this piggy bank so that you can start cultivating that habit of saving. Another thing that you can do is instead of getting a list of things from your children and a list of demands from your children every so often, have them do their own list and give them a budget. So don't work with like their budget, but work with your budget. So how much money do I want to spend on snacks on this child, maybe let's say this week or this month? So if you have 1,000, actually have them write down a shopping list, give them the 1,000, or ensure they understand that the budget is 1,000, and go to the supermarket with them. Have them understand opportunity costs. You know what that means? It also, or rather, it just means that if they have such a long list that is beyond 1,000 shillings, they will have to figure out what they're leaving behind so that the shopping list is, or rather whatever they're buying is enough for 1,000. So that teaches them delayed gratification. It teaches them opportunity cost. It teaches them that I can't always have it all. So you also create that scenario. As your children get much older, maybe high school level or even uni level, you want to ensure they have a budget. One of the most fascinating things that I've also, meetings that I've also attended was a meeting where the family has these quarterly finance meetings, and one of their sons who was actually in uni came and had a proposal that he was presenting to the mom and dad so that they can release funds for this business idea that his friend from school and him had. And I found that really, really awesome because he was questioned in terms of merit of the business idea and all of those things. And interestingly, he wasn't even given the money in the first place because the father sent him back. He told him that the business was there were holes in the business idea that they had. So he was like, you know what, next quarter, come back with a better idea or refine this one, and maybe we can see if we can release money. So what I'm saying is that stop thinking your children don't know about money. These kids know so much. Like from the age of 12, 13, they know so much. So stop treating your kids like children. Okay, yes, they're children, but don't treat them as if they don't understand money. There's always something you can do to have a money conversation or a money relationship with your child, no matter the age they are at. Another amazing strategy that I have seen works 100% of the time is having a family project that you can work on every year. Just pick one family project every year, whether that is, we are going to travel this year, or we are going to buy that 1/8 of an acre this year, or we are going to, let's say, renovate the home this year. Like when you actually have a financial project as a family, it helps you, number one, plan together. You're forced to plan together. You're forced to budget together. You're forced to like follow up on this project and hold each other accountable. And I've really, really found, in fact, when you have nothing you're working towards financially, money gets wasted in your household, okay? Trust me. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. Money really does get wasted when there's no plan, when there's no strategy. But like when there's something stressing you out, like you guys know, wow, this thing needs to be done by July, or we need to have done this thing by December, and it's like September and things are not moving. It kind of like gives you the pressure to want to put your heads together and like look at your numbers and be like, so what can I contribute? What can I do? How can I make this better? So please, guys, in 2024, if you haven't already, please pick a family project and start working on it. It's going to at least introduce some form of money conversation or some form of money relationship within your household. So those are the pointers, and I really hope that they are helpful and beneficial. One of the things that I really need to mention, guys, is that none of these pointers is an overnight success or a quick fix. So you have to keep practicing. And as you're practicing, a lot of things may come up. Maybe like a lack of trust that has been there in your family. Maybe someone who's very fond of like financially taking advantage of other people. The limelight is going to become on them, and you're going to identify, this person really needs to check themselves in terms of how they handle money. It's also going to bring a lot of, let's say, fights, arguments, misunderstandings, because no one also likes being called out on their bullshit. We know that. And so it's not a quick fix, but those are some of the things that you can actually begin to do. And I believe that as you keep working on some of these issues, as you keep having some of these conversations, as you keep checking yourself, checking your partner, checking your children, and not giving up. Guys, the most important thing is not giving up. You understand? So don't give up on, when you try budgeting the first time and it backfires, or you try budgeting and your partner completely falls off the rails. Guys, to be honest, you need around 6 to 12 months of consistently talking about money, budgeting, planning together for it to start becoming a natural part of your family. So just because you've tried it the first time, the second, or the third time does not mean that you should give up. Keep trying and keep showing up, because at the end of the day, families are a lifetime commitment. Raising children is a lifetime commitment. So you might as well, ensure that you are rather planning or doing well financially as a family, because that's the only way to ensure that there's that financial progress and financial awareness in a family setting. Guys, in case you're watching me right now and you would want to, let's say, consult or figure out, come as a family, maybe as yourself or even with your spouse, to figure out how you can harmonize your finances or harmonize money together, I'm going to leave a link to book a Pick My Brain session with me. And it's a 90 minutes virtual consultation session that I'm going to take you through either as an individual or with your spouse or your partner, so that we can look at your finances, we can know where the leaks are, where the loopholes are, and how we can close them, so that in 2024, your family is doing better financially. You've gotten the help, you've gotten the professional help, and you've also gotten guidance and tips on how you can actually curate something that works for your family. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you liked today's topic. I'm really, really keen on discussing family finances this year, because I know as much as you try to deal with money as an individual, as long as you're in a family that is not doing very well financially, that tends to pull you back. So let me know if you have any questions or comments regarding this. Of course, utilize the comments box down below, and also share this video with your friends. And also remember to turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.